everyone, and welcome to Between Plays Stock Market Strategies. Today we have with us CEO Martin Kepman of Manganese X. It's been a while, Martin. How you doing?
Hey, Albert. Nice to be back again to see you. Nice summer. Things are progressing well, and we're really excited to update your viewers and the people interested in our company on what our happenings are and where we're progressing.
That's amazing. It's been a while, and you mentioning summer. How was your summer? Did you get some time to relax, or was it all work? Because even if you're a CEO, you need to have some time off. How was your summer?
It was very hectic, very hectic. Right after our PEA
Yeah.
final publicizing it, that was on really on June 27th. We are aggressively progressing into a pilot project program
Yes,
at
that's right.
Cometco in Richmond, British Columbia. So there has been so much preparation involved. Nobody would really know what's gone on behind the scenes.
That's
So
amazing. Well, the last time we saw each other was at the PDAC. I mean, um, I ended up catching COVID right after, and it threw me out for a month. So I know you called me a few times to see how I was doing, and that's very much appreciated. It's very, very nice of you. It just shows how much of a good person that you are. But I never got to talk about it. My viewers didn't get to hear anything about it. Your PDAC experience, how was it out there?
tremendous. It was very exciting. They cut down the their exhibits by, I think, by a third because of the COVID situation.
Yeah.
However, there was a great response. Participation was at a record high there,
Yeah.
and everybody is so bullish on the battery metals and the metals market at that time. At that
Yes.
time. So there's been a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of deal making, and a lot of encouragement. So it's just tremendous. Nice meeting old acquaintances and talking about
Yeah.
specific areas, and it was great. It was really good.
Absolutely. I mean, it's important, right? Because the 2 years of COVID, you don't have this meeting of the minds, in the industry, and that lacks, and then all of a sudden you all get back together again, and then there's all this conversation, time to catch up. What are you doing? What am I doing? And it's great. I mean, I was there and I saw there was a lot of enthusiasm when it comes to electric vehicles and the minerals for electric vehicles, and of course that is manganese is one of them. Of course, that's well way up there. You know what? I'm just gonna go and ask you a few questions, and where are we at today when it comes to where manganese? Because we've seen the PEA, it came out. What's been the feedback since then?
Well, we had a very, very robust economic outcome from our PEA.
Yes.
It's been really, really tremendous. 47 years of production, and 486 NPV. It was really, really good. 486 million US, 2.8 year payback. All this stuff. Big, big production. 86,000 tons for the first 7 years, and then 68,000 tons for next about 40 years. Tremendous. We got calls worldwide.
Oh,
Uh,
sure. I'm sure that your phone must be ringing absolutely with the numbers that you're putting up.
yes, we've got many, many calls. It's very interesting. We got write-ups and calls, and we've got calls, and we have now made NDAs with some very large EV cathode producers in the world. Number one, we have some NDAs with some companies that want to become participate in our company right now, but
Okay.
we know we're not rushing too quickly. And thirdly, we've got some very interested parties in our technology because
Yeah.
our technology is very groundbreaking and very, very cost effective.
Well, yeah,
So
that's because I guess, the technology that you're using, especially when it comes to um, taking a 9% carbonate and making it EV compliant, without using that whole what was that again? Electroplating, I believe it was
EMM,
called.
electroplating
Yeah.
material.
Okay. And because your company, Manganese X, we don't have to do that. Like Cometco and all the processes that was put in place, and of course, wood for the PA. You have a technology that's very different. It's cost effective, and it's how you say, it's more green, right? It's more green, right, for the environment.
Well, let me just clarify. It's called EMM, electroplating. As to our knowledge, we're the only company in the world that can do this, that can take a carbonate and produce it to a chemical compound of high purity manganese sulfate monohydrate. The norm is very simple. They take their carbonate or oxide, and they
Mm.
have to do something called electroplating, where they have to take their manganese material and have to uh, disperse it in sulfuric acid and electrowind it with electroplating.
Okay.
And this is, first of all, there's a lot of contaminants in their solution, in their sulfuric solution. So
Yes.
it's extremely, and take it from me, it's extremely difficult to get out all the contaminants. There's about
Okay.
18 contaminants in their elements,
Okay.
and then they have to use a high amount of electricity. So it's extremely sensitive. You have to be extremely precise, extremely expensive, and
Yes.
it's not very environmentally friendly. So I just hope I'm able to explain that, because it's an extremely complicated uh, process, and a lot of our subscribers and probably your viewers aren't aware of this process.
No, definitely. I'm gonna have to do a video on the differences between, like, let's say, the technology that you're utilizing versus an electroplating type technology. I definitely have to do something on that, so that people understand like how important your company is, in the field of EVs, and especially the differences that sets you apart when it comes to manganese, with your
I just
company.
want to say one thing. I always say this.
Yeah.
It's very dear to my heart because we've been working on this project for over 6.5 years. I just want to say that manganese is the forgotten mineral.
Yes.
It's going to be the mineral of the 20s
Oh
because
yeah.
it is amazing. It's amazing. It's forgotten because it's just a metal that nobody notices or talks about. But finally, the public is starting to really understand the importance of manganese
Oh, the
in the
public
EV.
and people like Elon Musk as well, Tesla.
Yes,
We know that
yes.
they're gearing more towards manganese battery, which is what the CATL in China does.
Well, most of the larger EV companies now are voting for manganese
Yes,
and pushing out cobalt and nickel. They're reducing it. And I could tell
absolutely.
you a long story. I could just tell you a long story, like Volkswagen and Tesla. They're reducing the quantities of these high purities, sulfates of nickel and cobalt, because it's too costly and it's a long story.
Yeah.
So also there's something just for your interest, the lithium iron phosphate battery, the
Yes.
LFP, where it's being highly used in Europe for short-term uh, distances. They've just added manganese to that, and that's, yeah, I don't know if that many of your viewers really found out about it, and they're going to reduce the iron by 50% and put in manganese, and that's going to give you a longer cycle life, longer durability, longer endurance,
Oh,
and I try to achieve that holy grail 1,000-mile battery
wow. Yeah, that's
rechargeability. It's
right.
phenomenal, and that's where they're going also. Besides the other different chemistries, and
Yep.
that's what because of the economics of the battery.
And mentioning that, we're talking about how the interest, right? There's a lot of interest in it. And now what I'm looking at is basically all of these companies, like Benconcourt, Kingston, which has some stuff going on. We have like BASF, Stellantis, Electra Battery Metals down in Sudbury. Can you talk about these parks, a little bit of the interests that are coming to Canada? What is it basically? What's the best way I can put this question? Basically, all these EV companies are now coming to Canada, and we're building parks and stuff like that. How important is that, especially having a site that'll be so close to all these parks?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I'm not sure if the public is really aware of this. The situation, let's take Stellantis as an example. Okay, so Stellantis is a merger of like 14 or 15 different automobile names. And
Yes.
they've opened up in, they're opening up near Windsor, Ontario. It's going to be $6.8 billion project. They're gonna employ like uh, 2,000 to 2,500 employees.
Well, that's
So
a lot
what
of
they're going to
employees.
do is they're trying to integrate the whole situation. They're going to try to make the battery and the battery packs, and also the EV battery. Okay, so
Wow.
what's going to need is there's something called a precursor active material park, which means that they need these metals or materials or minerals to be able to produce this high purity high purity sulfates. And what sulfates are they going to need to produce it? They have to combine 2 or 3 different materials into a precursor. And what
Yes.
are the main materials that they're using? They're using nickel, manganese, and cobalt. So they're going to have to refine these 3 minerals into high purity sulfates to be able to combine it into a cathode. That's called a precursor.
Okay.
The minerals are the high purity minerals are called a precursor because they're really they're really
It's before they become a high
or
sulfate.
it's combined into the cathode to
Okay.
become a cathode.
Okay, I
And
understand
the
that.
cathode just electrodes in the cathode. It's a thin material.
And
Yeah.
what's amazing about your company, Manganese X, is that you already have an EV compliant product.
Yes, and the interesting part is we've got calls from some of these precursor active parks
Wow.
because they can't find manganese. The whole key in is complicated situation is like our whole key is like we're getting closer and closer to go into production.
Yes.
And as I keep on saying, our mission statement is to become the first commercial publicly traded company to produce high purity manganese sulfate materials for the EV compliant market.
Wow,
And
Martin.
that's the whole idea about our mission. Our mission
Well,
is to be the
wow.
first in North America to be a supply chain supplier to these North American EV companies or cathode producers or precursors or whatever you want to get all that complicated matter. That's where we really want to go.
Well,
So basically, they're calling us in a nutshell and saying, "Hey, we got nickel, we got cobalt, but where do we get the manganese?" And the interesting part about our technology is that we've developed this technology and in small lab tests, and it's been validated by Wood with 7 QPs. It's been really, really scrutinized that we can take this technology and possibly drop it into one of these precursor parks, and use either our feedstock or get a second feedstock or second carbonate and work it right there in their parks in conjunction with their purification systems. So it's very, very interesting. It's extremely interesting, and it's extremely gives us a lot of flexibility. But the whole key right now is we just want to complete our pilot project where we
correct.
can prove to the world that we can produce this high purity manganese sulfate monohydrate or on a larger scale.
Wow, amazing. You know what, Martin? I am so happy that you came on our show once again. Well, we respect you. We love the company. We're very excited for the future of Manganese X. Hearing about all these parks, like where Stellantis is involved and all these different companies right on your doorstep just puts Manganese X in a much more important position when it comes to being able to produce. And coming from Canada, a stable government, a stable economy, we couldn't have asked for anything better. So I just like to thank you so much for being on the show today, and I hope that you'll come back in the future.
Absolutely. Anytime for you, Albert.
All right. Thanks a lot, Martin. I really appreciate that. So for everybody that's out there, always remember: research, prepare, plan, execute, stay strong. On to the next show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Between Plays Stock Market Strategies. Hit the like and the subscribe button. Head off into our description below if you'd like to know where all of our social media links are, and also the podcast, whether it be Apple or Spotify. We will be doing interviews with CEOs, with analysts, and it's not only on the stock market itself, but also on cryptocurrencies and blockchains. We will have guest speakers. We will be doing panels. You will be able to enjoy a lot of different content. Have a great day, and always remember: research, prepare, plan, execute. Stay strong.